Yeah, they're just, I think they're about to have a new installation, and then they have a student show. And just we're in the process of putting this. COVID's going around again, so I'm gonna ask if we got 3 people in my department already. That got it.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah.
I am calling this meeting of the Philomath Downtown Streetscape Project Public Art Ad Hoc Committee to order. It is 5:31 p.m. on April 24th, 2023. And we will start with a roll call. I'm Christopher McMorrin, and I am present. Ruth Kazi,
Present.
Sally Jewell,
Here.
Jen Edwards,
Here.
Shar Fagerston, Nancy Froelich. Oh, okay. Okay, sure. Janelle Joy
Yes.
and Peggy Yoder is absent, and so sort of here. Okay.
Okay.
And then we're joined, as always, by the wonderful Chelsea Starner. So we have a very simple agenda for today. We're going to hold on adopting our minutes because they're not done yet, but we will do that soon. And then we may also need to adopt a previous set of, did I say amendments? Or did I say minutes?
I don't think they were amendments.
I think they're
that
minutes,
there was
sorry.
not a-
I'm still in work
Last
mode.
time.
Yes, so minutes. We're not going to adopt the minutes from our last meeting, as well as the one before that, because I think we have to go back and check if we did adopt the minutes at our last meeting or if we didn't because we didn't have enough people. So point being, stay tuned for our next exciting meeting where we might get to adopt 2 sets of minutes. Hold on to your butts. Okay, moving on. For our business, we have the continued discussion of the holiday decor for our downtown light poles. So I think, was anyone not at our last meeting? No.
Okay.
It was from February 8th. Okay,
Yeah, we were missing about half.
right, hence why we
It was-
probably couldn't.
right.
Okay. Well, so then just as a quick recap, and chime in if I missed something, but anyone who's lived in Philomath for a while is probably familiar with the lights that used to go up on Main Street during the holidays. There was sort of a variety of these, they're not like string lights, they're like light fixtures, kind of light decorations. So like it'd be like a candle or a piece of holly or something like that. And the previous ones were, I believe, handmade by members of the community way back when. And they have reached the end of their usable life, we have been informed by Public Works, which is good timing because it coincides with the Streetscapes project where we will not be putting up any holiday decorations until that project is complete, just because they will be changing all the light poles as part of that project. So there will be no flower baskets or decorations on the light poles because we don't want to put them up and then have to take them down and waste money and time on all that. So that gives us a little time here until 2024-25 to figure out what we want to do. Since the current decorations are at the end of their life, it's time to get some new ones. So we started a discussion at our last meeting sort of about what direction we want to go. And we're going to continue that today and hopefully have more of a solid sort of idea. And I think, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, there were a couple things that we seem to be gravitating towards. Some folks, I think, the things we want to keep in mind are that we want them to be sort of, is it non-secretarian or I don't know the right word. Secular, I guess. Sure.
Non-secular is religious.
Right,
secular,
right. You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Not relating to the birth of Jesus Christ specifically. So with that in mind, some folks were gravitating more towards the sort of white snowflake idea, but there were concerns that that is what Corvallis does. And as we all know, if there's one thing people in Philomath hate, it's doing what Corvallis does. And so then there was some other folks, or some other directions towards more like wreath type looks or candles or stars, something that can be a little more, broad but is a little more unique to maybe Philomath. I think the other things we're trying to keep in mind is the theme of the Streetscapes project is Timber Town. So the lampposts these will be going on will be made of like wood and iron, and there'll be some other sort of elements like that. So it doesn't mean we have to play into that, but just that will be what a lot of other decorations are looking like. So, do we want to try to pick something that plays into that, like a tree or something? So I think that's kind of where we left it. And the council, how much money did we approve for this?
Well, that was a confusing one.
Yeah, was it like 16?
How much did we-
I think it was 16
Yeah,
or
we don't have to
17
council total.
16,000. I think we budgeted 11,000 and then we budgeted 5,000. for
Right,
hopes that would
okay.
be fundraising.
Yes, okay,
Come back
okay.
in.
There is a little complicated. We, I think, are planning to spend maybe around $16,000 on this. The council approved a certain amount from our ARPA funds, the like COVID money that was just kind of left over. And then we're hoping to also still do some private fundraising, maybe work with the chamber, work with downtown businesses, since that's who will really be benefiting from this. But so just that's sort of our rough budget.
To get started.
Yes, so that's an update from last time.
Yes.
I'll turn it over to Chelsea then.
Okay, also I wanted to say Marsha Gilson is
Yes,
here.
thank you.
Who is spearheading this and trying to help with the legwork because
Trying to help.
I do feel like I've been doing a lot, Marsha, doing these picture things. But yeah, she's brought this to life, and the timing thing is that in order to get the best deal on these, we would purchase them in January of next year. So it seems like a lot of time, but it isn't. So we want to have something that we can put out in the public, do the fundraising. We are looking at the option of sending this out instead of the flower basket donation solicitation. So we're not having flower baskets. Is anyone on that list interested in donating for this program?
And to be clear, the flower baskets will be coming back.
They are
eventually,
coming
is
back,
not-
just,
yes,
for this year
right.
and next summer. That might be a way that we can get the word out. We already have a mailing list for that. So we're hoping to send out some information about this program to those folks. But that's kind of the timeline. So today, based off of last time, I brought some kind of themed pictures. And what I would really like to do is have people do like the sticker method, where I'm gonna give you a little bit of direction, say, here's a couple stickers, put some stickers on these. I'm also giving the option that if you have something you want to write in or remind people of, we should do that. So once I show these, if there's something else that other people are remembering, wait a minute, I really felt like we had this conversation about this look. Let's put that down too. We can do that. I don't have a picture for it, but we could draw a picture.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
just really quick, for anyone that wasn't here last time, are there any burning questions?
About
Or people who were here last time?
why we're doing it.
The Frolic and Rodeo people were really excited about the cowboy boot. Is the cowboy boot in there?
The cowboy boot is not in here because
Uh-oh.
there's about one person that was really expressing excitement. I think you did. Let's add it back on there because it is good to know that we've had some community feedback. And the thought is that it would be nice if we could come up with at least two. Last time, that was another thing, the committee members that were here said, we don't feel like we should be making the final decision about what we should go forward with. But if we could whittle it down to a few, two would be nice. If it has to be three. So if that were an option where it was like these two and the cowboy boot, because we're throwing it in and people agree that let's throw that into and see what happens. I don't know where we are putting this out yet. I talked to Chris briefly before the meeting. And so if you have ideas for that as well, we do want to try to do it as quickly as we can so that we can start getting, donations coming in. So we don't want to do something that's going to take months to gather input, but I'm open for suggestions on how you would like to gather input from where I think Christopher mentioned maybe at the chamber luncheon. And we could do something similar, just with a bigger format at a chamber luncheon that gets some of the business owners. Yeah, do you have ideas?
I have a question.
Oh, okay. Great.
Okay, so we're talking about the light whatever's gonna be lit up,
Mhm.
Mm.
are these going to be like, are we going to also have the banner situation every other?
So Marcia and I had talked about the possibility of putting banners as well. Some of what we talked about last time was, $16,000 seems like a lot of money, depending on what you get. These are not cheap. They're $400 to $800 each, depending on what you get, ish. They go up much higher than that. But we aren't going to be able to get every single light pole with those. So Marcia had mentioned as an idea, and I'm not sure if we talked about it last meeting or not, but to
We got an
maybe,
email about that.
did, okay, the email, maybe putting some banners up, which are really cost effective and they would show in the day.
Mhm.
So one of the considerations last time was, do you choose something that shows during the day? The current decorations are the tinsel look. So they're basically like a tinsel boa basically around the wire. Yeah, and so they show in the day, right? Like if you drive by, you see them in all their
Tinsel glory.
glory. So they still have a presence, and that's been some of the consideration. If we did choose to do a flag kind of in between, that would give something to look at if you went with a light that does not have a presence, as much of a presence in the daytime.
And we already have the hardware for that.
There will be, yeah, I think
I mean,
we're,
yeah,
I don't know how many of the poles, we're gonna have to figure some of this out
Yeah.
before they start putting hardware on, but we still have a while to determine that.
so then two things real quick, first thing, are they custom made or are we choosing from a catalog of tinsel designs?
Right.
And then two, if we do the banners, how cool would it be to pull the trees, the winter themes from our
Inlays.
thingy inlays?
Mhm.
And those could somehow be
Use
part
some
of the
of those.
banners, like the winter banners, if you will.
Mhm.
Don't know.
Yeah.
That's
We
all I
could call them
wanna say.
liners.
They are not custom, so
Okay.
they have lots of companies that have a variety of them. We looked at some of those websites last time when you were away. And so it does limit you somewhat. So even the designs I brought are not exact. So when I show them, it's not, I mean, it could be, but it doesn't have to be like, it's that exact tree right there. It's like, I generally like the idea of that tree. We may be able to find a cheaper option at one of, the variety of the companies. The other thing is the tinsel look was kind of voted down at the last
I
meeting,
was joking.
just so you know, because you weren't here and
Thank you.
neither were some other people. Just because they don't weather very well for one thing. They are, as Ruth was saying, they're very nostalgic. And they do have a place too. I love them, but they don't wear very well. We had them at my last city too, and it was the same situation where it was really sad watching them, slowly lose their tinsel every year.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Deteriorate.
You
Yeah.
should sell them if you want, if you mentioned a fundraiser earlier, some people might really, be nostalgic for them.
Mhm. Yeah, we've also talked about trying to find a place to put, there aren't many left. I think, what did we say last time? There were like 8 or 9. I think we talked about how many were
I
left.
think there's more. There's
10?
more than-
10. It's maybe like 10.
Yeah, at least.
It's not many. They're,
Still people.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of these.
mhm. So that's where we're at. So I'm just gonna show the themes that generally were talked about last time. I'm gonna start with snowflakes. We already mentioned that. I found one picture of what Corvallis has. I don't know if they have different snowflakes, but this is a
I've been
snowflake.
working with Simon, he's just not getting back to me. So
This is
I'll-
at least one of the
all of them
snowflakes that
together.
they have. I don't know if they all look the same or not. But again, like Christopher said, even though snowflakes are cool, both Albany and Corvallis have snowflakes. And I'd like to think that Philomath can do something a little more unique. Just like to think that. See a cowboy boot. We're gonna put that, it's going to be written in right here. We're just gonna draw a picture of a
The
cowboy.
cowboy boot might be able to be interpreted when loggers wear it, with this like,
Yeah. Cork
Yeah,
boots.
corks.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Trees. This was an option, non-tinsel trees, so something tree-like. What I'm hoping to do is have you kind of hone in on the general theme you like first. And I'm gonna give you stickers, so stay tuned. We could have a little fun. Stars, this came up, so there were a variety of different types of stars that we looked at. We were a little cautious about making sure that there's not a meaning that we don't intend to use or not use. So there's consideration without stars. Wreaths. So we talked about wreaths, both the option of some of these wreaths come out from the pole, so they basically sit under the light and come out on the street side. Some of them are kind of on the front of the pole with the pole going through. So it just depends on what kind of hanger you get and where they go. But there are also some different options with wreaths. So there are, I wouldn't gauge on the actual lights of these because picture quality, it really changes between sites, but there are wreath options with like quite a few decorations that are already put on them. There's some with just like a few decorations, and then there are more of the plain, more rustic looking wreath that just has the lights and bows. And bows can also be changed. Some of the companies had a lot of bow options where you can choose the wreath and a totally different color bow. Generally, they almost all come with a red bow. There, you can buy an additional bow. They're not cheap, but this is going to be here for a long time. So it may be something to consider. I couldn't find options where they showed it on the wreaths. So they were all red, which is a very popular color for wreaths. And then we're going to do the boot. And is there anything else that anyone has thought of or
So everything's just a flat sign, right?
yes. Yeah, these go on the side of the pole. So when you drive down, you see it kind of hanging over the street. All of those do. These have the option to do that or be on the side of the pole. Okay, so we've got cowboy. Was there anything else that anyone?
Can you put the cowboy boot on screen or are you not connected?
I am. Let me see if I can find it.
And you said you want 2 or 3 choices?
It kind of depends on what is the plan once we're done here? What is your recommendation? I mean, I'm looking a little bit for that. Like I said, Christopher mentioned maybe getting chamber members input.
Market,
Maybe at the market,
that
just
would be a great place to get like a slice of the community.
sure.
Yeah, 'cause you did a heat map there with the poles and all that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Market.
Mhm. Yeah, we could do that. I guess the question is, how many options would we like to present to the community then?
Right, and I would recommend that
Yeah.
it's 3 or less.
Okay,
I don't know if this is the boot. Is that the boot? Probably not.
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty close.
This isn't like
Oh,
a
that's
street light.
I'll
Right,
dream of
right.
this.
Like it could be a 3D thing, like a.
I think, I don't know, we could talk about Public Works, I think,
But it's not. I guess I'm just trying to, it's a pole and then something hangs down.
well,
right?
it might
see if I
hang
can
or it might be like
find-
mounted on the side of the pole is kind of the issue. I think there might also be other concerns with those as far as maintenance and storage, because these you can just put in a stack and put them in a garage, somewhere, but I mean, if you feel very strongly about that, we can add it to the list.
What was that?
Like the sort of like Starburst, okay, but not like the candy. Like, yeah, like
Like
a,
a firework.
yes, so yeah, see, that's why you're here.
Yeah. Like that's, yep, they're like a star, but bursting.
Oh, right, those are the generally hanging though, not from the pole, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Is it on the pole? Okay.
That was nice. That was
Very good.
Out of 10.
I think they're still hanging from the eave though is the problem. So these have a bracket that holds them. That's like a big bracket that mounts to the light.
Got it.
Not that that's not an option, but they can't be hanging from the top of the light, just the way that the light is configured. So it would have to have something that like mounts
See,
it
it's like
to the
these sort of
side,
like bars that go from the light to the,
right? They do have some that are, let me see if I can share here. Hold on a second. not a good example because they're snowflakes, but
These liberal snowflakes.
we did have
That'd be good.
kind of a reindeer that came up. Mhm.
You need to get, somehow you have to design it, I don't know, but just. a
Oh, the white
truck
stag.
That has logs on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Where
cute.
you know, you'd have to, it wouldn't, it'd have to be kind of basic, I guess, but that would be, you know, they have the truck and then the logs, and then on the logs, put a little wreath or something.
The issue is we
Yeah.
can't do custom because the
Oh,
cost
that-
would just be,
Oh,
yeah, we would end up with 10 decorations probably for the cost of being able to, we did talk about that last time, but I think it's out of our price range for such a, we're hoping to get eventually as much as we can so that we're down closer to businesses like your business. And so that was a consideration we talked about last time is how we can't necessarily do it right at the beginning, but we want to keep growing the program every year so that we can stretch all the way down to Soft Star, Les Schwab, and include more of the businesses than were included previously. So we're trying to find something that's cost effective so that we can hopefully get the most bang for our buck.
Are we doing all of them are the same?
We talked about doing different ones last time, trying to find consistency with them was looking pretty difficult. We did talk about snowflakes and doing different snowflakes that were within the same company. But we went away. I know I'm showing snowflakes, but this is just to show that they do have decorations that are a little more involved, that aren't just one thing. So I brought that up.
What if we did one, like westbound, you do one way and then eastbound we do the other, since we have the split roads? Or we just doing one,
There's no rule book. here.
Yeah, we don't have a rule book on that.
Oh, we could write one.
Yeah, I think the question is, we're just not, if we want to do that, then we need to do the next step of figuring out how many we want on each
Yeah.
road. Because I think right now we're just gonna kind of order 20 of these or whatever, and then
Right.
put them where it makes sense. Whereas if we're doing that, we need to figure out like, are we gonna have 10 and 10, or like, we want to have like 12 and 8, like, just because there's gonna be more, I believe there's gonna be more street lamps on Main Street than on Applegate, just sort of the way that the engineering worked out. So
Mhm.
like, just figuring that out.
Mhm.
But it could work as it grows too. Potentially, that's 5 years from now, the company that we order from is
Right.
no longer. So if we get whatever 20 now, and then we order 20 later, and then we do every other one. or
Right.
something,
And that's a
know,
consideration.
Yeah.
Let's
That-
not buy from Bed Bath and Beyond.
No, let's not. Okay, where did the boot go? That's what I want to know here, because
You got the
it's
booth.
very small, but this is similar to the boot that we looked at last time as an option.
See, that's clever and it's different and it's not so traditional and it is Paloma.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
It's on here.
Music to
You won't
Ruth's
get to vote,
ears.
right here.
Well, I mean, I like that. I don't think anything is on top.
It's like a
I think it's
holly or
holly.
something.
Oh.
Trying
It-
to
the
make it a
picture will
little,
not
a little
get bigger.
Christmassy,
Oh,
excuse me, a
okay.
little holiday.
But it's
I can
lit
do
up.
that.
I mean, people will get it,
There we go.
whether it's a boot, right?
Yeah, I think the only caution I would say, because I think the boot is very cool, is that the design committee, which you were on and Peggy was on,
That's true.
was pretty specific to not do a Western theme and to do this
Well,
more
that, I was
modern
feeling
timber
that doesn't
theme.
align with our
It-
whole theme.
That
of
would be my
trying to
only caution.
inclusive and recognizing the indigenous cultures. And the
Right.
It was
community
just Christmas, it's not.
It's not all the time.
Right,
Yeah,
it's not all
so
the time.
that would just be my only words of, if Peggy were here, I feel like she would say it because she has said that several times through our design process. So I'll just say that. Maybe I don't want to speak for Peggy, but
It's
And-
not Christmas, right? That's the hard thing about coming up with anything. That
it
it's
is.
not Christmas.
And that's what's nice about this is that it does, the Frolic Rodeo is a big part of Philomath, even if that's not the direction that was chosen to go downtown. This could be a way to, honor that in some way downtown for just a short month.
Well, I think there was also some discussion of Frolic and Rodeo, putting them on 13.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think
Yeah,
would be cool.
that would be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
So we wouldn't pollute the rest of the theme.
The rest of everything.
I don't
That would be
think
cool
it's
too, though.
saying Being inclusive
Right.
of your community.
So we've got,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Because
could
I
do the
personally
Longhorn.
see that as a white male, historically oppressive group. I mean, I'll just tell you right now, I see that. That's what I see.
I did write cow boot just for the record.
Oh.
Because I wear
Cow
cow,
person.
I call them cow boots. Or
Cow boot.
or horse boots, because I wear them to not get.
Well, they serve a purpose, but if you're
Yes.
gonna reflect on the historical of what that means to the community as far as what that group of people did, then you'll start that issue.
I think this bowl is really cool too, but
So are there any
also I'm a
other,
Taurus,
are
so.
there any other things you want to add to our list? We have wreaths,
Right.
I do like
stars.
the, that's a deer.
Let's see if I can find that again.
Common one I've seen like in front yards. and-
We
Yeah.
did see, we
Deer?
did
No,
look
deer.
at.
Oh, dear.
Deer.
Oh,
I
Beer.
hope you're not seeing
Whoa.
the
Just right in front of dirt
Oh,
road.
I
Yeah.
can see me saying that.
We
That
saw a
mark is
few,
blind, not deer.
we saw a few that we didn't like last time, but there were some,
Is there a turkey?
there's like,
Oh, yeah.
there's that one that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Rudolph.
Okay,
What about like not a reindeer though, what, just like.
well, that might be challenging.
I
if it's
don't know that we
holiday.
found a deer, but there were some reindeer that looked a little bit
And of course
more.
you gotta not make it look like the Portland one.
That's
Right.
true. Well,
Right.
that's true.
What is
I
the one
lied.
in Portland?
And when I said if there's one thing people in Philomath hate, it's being like Corvallis.
There you
It's
go.
being like Portland.
Because when I think Kelowna, I think Portland.
Yeah, everyone's saying it.
Everyone's saying
We'll
it.
start with the B.
No, they're not popping up. I've seen them.
Keep full of
Wait.
Wait, don't you have that thing in your store that it's like keep Philomath gritty? I love
That's
that.
what, somebody told me
On the
that's
top
what the
left
theme
one.
was. It might have been Pat,
Star.
we did the,
Okay, okay. I
What's your
wanna,
store?
it's the Fleming.
This looks like the,
Yeah, he said that, keep it
Portland
pretty, so
deer.
I made a little sign on, I had a sign made on Etsy.
okay,
He said,
because I feel like I need to
"Keep
get
it
one of
pretty."
those signs. I
Yeah.
love it.
You should,
Okay.
I thought it was
Isn't
gonna be a
that
lot
also
bigger
the
than that.
gritty, isn't that the name of the?
It's like the map.
Philadelphia
Yeah, the map. Yeah,
mascot,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think that's what this is
I
referring
was like,
to.
but as soon as I hear that, I'm like, wait, that's
okay, so I'll put
like.
down deer as well.
Oh, yeah.
So then we are
Not
actively
finding
making
good-
it less
Broken
gritty.
up
So.
back. Oh, cool. Like,
Only for a month.
Maybe
I'm
go
just
back.
having
Yeah, well.
trouble finding the
I
deer.
gotta
I just like the whole point
Yeah.
of this
Oh, there was
committee
one
is
there.
less
No,
gritty.
and then every time I love it.
Here we go. There's a deer. This deer, I think, has a wreath around it. Oh, this is a deer.
See, and
with
I
a
feel like if I
wreath.
were driving down Main
Where's the-
Street,
I'd
be like,
I think the thought for that is that it has the wreath.
Yeah,
on
that's
it.
gonna be, that's gonna be in the paper.
It's right by the convenience store.
Yeah. Joe.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a no for me.
They spent how much money on, what is even.
Right,
And what is that? We saw a few last time that were,
Because
I
really,
really just, whatever, we can put it down, or like, we can draw a picture.
And I got a haircut on it.
I say, let's start with this and do our little stickers.
okay, I'll put down deer. I was hoping to find one. I know we did look at,
Yeah.
we did look at deer last time, but.
So final
there's
call,
some deer right there.
are there any other things to add to the list? We have wreaths, stars, trees, cow boots, and
Here we go. There's a deer.
maybe deer.
There's a deer.
Okay, anything else?
Deer with a tie.
It's a professional.
This is a deer with a
It's a
tie.
professional deer.
Any other, any others there? Is anyone heartbroken over taking snowflakes off the list? Okay, because we liked the idea. They're very
Also,
classic
snowflakes.
and
Like, maybe, you know, the whole new snowflake term. Like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, maybe
There'll be a snake.
we don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna set these out and give you each. Do you want me to give you 2 or 3 stickers? I feel like you can
Let's do
go
two.
down to 2.
Let's make people decide.
Okay. All right.
We can be
Let's move the
decided.
speaker. Will you move that over there? Christopher, please?
I'm sorry to anyone watching online.
I'm just gonna leave these here. So
Yeah.
take 2 stickers. Let's spread them out a little bit further. So people don't. What I'd like to do is get up and review these if you wouldn't mind. I can put them on the other side. You'd rather not have it tracked to the- Whatever makes you comfortable. So again, we're just going for general right now, so if you just put it at the top. 2. Yeah, you get 2 stickers and then put on your top 2 choices. Let's see what we end up with.
Everyone loves this game.
No, it's a good game,
It
right?
is. I'm gonna do it.
It's
tomorrow.
really.
I do this so many times.
It's just a deer at this point, that's just an
Yeah, well, it's a
example.
good
That's an
way to.
example.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
none of
that-
these are,
That guy,
yeah, none of these are firm.
Firm,
It's
just-
deer,
okay.
Right,
yeah.
it's a theme.
We're not picking which star, we're just picking.
Right.
Stars.
Oh my God.
The last couple of years, we installed that and sold out.
What is your, Jack, your special?
Oh. It's Eddie is fine. I think. I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. I just put it on real fast as I rushed over here. Try to sign.
Big stars, less Christmas.
See, I'm a big wreath
I was
guy.
gonna say, I'm a bit old fashioned.
See,
We made up with two on everything.
do we have to be two different things?
Two different
You
things. You can't double your
Did anyone
vote.
else put two on one?
That's a very.
Chris, I don't think I realized how
Actually,
tall you were.
I am quite tall.
I don't think I've ever really seen you stand up. Like every time we've had a meeting, you're like.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting when I'm on Zoom.
Oh, you're on Zoom, yeah, yeah.
That's fair, that's fair.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'9".
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
It's quite a time.
I bet you got recruited for basketball, huh?
Well, yeah, and football, because I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm like not a skinny bean. you know,
Quarterback,
like, Right,
yeah.
well, they always like, I don't know, it was funny.
Did you ever
One-
play any of them?
No,
or-
not really.
Yeah, that's what-
Brain injury. Let's see. Let's see how. Well, but here's the thing. I'm gonna do trees. That's fair. That's fair.
So what I
We
see
can
so
varietize
far,
the trees.
So-
trees are the
I
lowest.
thought I could trust you all.
And boots are also the lowest. We're left with the highest right now are tree stars and deer.
Well, that would be the three we can present to the community. then.
Well, right, but now we want to talk about this and have a little bit more.
Do we want to
conversation.
talk
Oh.
about dollars? Like, would money be a factor and,
Yeah, is one cheaper than the other, I guess.
you know, like, does it mean we get like three deer
No.
or 12 trees?
Yeah, I think these are- everything
Like-
we've been showing is within.
The
what
same
we
amount.
think we would pay for these, so. Okay, let's look at these just as a whole. We've got trees, these look unique, they look timber town. We got trees. We've got deer that you can't see
Wow.
Right there, you gotta look up.
You got a deer.
here. And stars. What I see, I like stars. But I do see with trees and deer, they're a little bit more unique. Stars are less unique.
Yeah.
But if,
I think if we're blending them, those trees and stars go together more.
Maybe two.
If you were blending them.
Deer and tree.
Yeah, I don't know if the intention is.
deer and
necessarily
trees.
blend them with a
I'm just thinking of
star.
symbolism when you usually have tree and star.
What do you think?
Yeah, isn't that?
You're not, but what do you think
Oh, actually,
about it?
yeah,
Your
that's
thoughts
true.
on it? You-
Okay, and the
Well,
stars
originally
on it.
put-
I think it would be nice to have two.
They
different
all
things,
originated.
but
from
I
paper.
I also think it'd
But
be
if you
nice
read-
to
if you read it,
encourage
it's together.
the frolic to buy a couple cowboy boots and they could use them in July and in
Mm.
December.
That's true. That would be cool.
They'd be happy to us.
That would actually be really cool if they could.
You know, and it
Yeah,
could
put
be
them up
more of
during
a,
frolic.
there might be side streets where there could be deer.
okay, but if you're gonna have them buy those, they have stars on them. So maybe the frolic would want stars and boots.
Yeah, well, and like you said, you could have like trees, I mean, the deer that. You could have a variety. We've talked about doing that. And maybe that's something that we want to put out as an option, is mixing some of these. I don't know that the,
Oh, like round one.
yeah, well, I
like-
feel like the deer, the trees and the stars I think you can relate them to each other because you can see that these these both have stars, like you said. You can put those two together and.
Because I kind of like the idea of doing a tree without a star.
Mhm.
Because I feel like a tree with a star, it's giving Christmas.
Yep.
Whereas a
That's why I
tree
liked that one.
is Philomath
The
and a
middle one?
star
Like
is
this one, it
Philomath.
has no
you know,
stars. I
right,
hope I can
right.
find where you found it. I think I saved it in my book.
I
You
don't
can
love
always
the
do Google
pot.
Lens and it'll look it up
Yeah.
for you.
I don't love that it's in a, like a,
Is it
Yeah.
a pot or is it a?
but
We can
also
figure that
like
out.
the trees, the deer, the stars
myself.
also completely, and I guess that's probably why you have us here, is that those all fall in line too with
Yeah.
all of the other things.
The
that
nature,
you said,
right,
like the
right,
nature,
yeah.
the
Yep.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do. I really like the cow
The cow boot.
person
Well,
booth.
that would be
I
cool, like
think-
to put down 13.
I think that would be so cool,
Yeah.
especially during the frolic.
Because I
Yeah,
hear
think
your
about that.
concerns. I do think it would be appropriate to put it on the street the frolic is on. Especially if the frolic wanted to pay for it.
The booth does have stars, which,
Cause that's a spur,
Could be-
right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
star with a star.
And I guess that's-
Christmas.
I mean, that's part of the question. How
Slash,
comfortable?
what lampposts are there on 13?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what are they
There's
gonna hang
going
on?
to
Oh,
be
we're putting some in?
more, well, no, not in that part of 13th, I guess.
Mm.
Well, in the middle
Couple
lot,
books up. Oh, right,
Middle.
okay, cross street.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm. I don't know.
Oh,
what
Wasn't
they're-
that where the rest of that ARPA money was going?
That's
Yeah.
on,
The other.
oh, right, I'm thinking 13, sorry, I was thinking, what street is the frolic on? That's like 9th? No.
No, it's 13.
Free nudity.
Oh.
Two entrances.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about this side, like the side that Mary's River is on, like Mary's River Park.
That's like 11.
11, okay, okay.
I've actually never.
Well, because that's like, I feel like, I guess that's always the entrance I've come into. this.
I know, right? You don't know what to do.
All right, okay. You know what?
Don't worry, we'll have it working.
There's
There.
Okay, so that makes sense, yeah.
What I'm
I
kind of
know,
hearing
fire
is
looking
that
at
people
this
like the
going,
idea
oh,
of having
that's
multiple
not-
options.
Sure, so how do we feel about taking stars, trees, and deer to the community? Which one do you like?
We'll do the same heat map.
One,
Well, that's what I'm asking. If you're wanting to do multiple options, we could package it as multiple options.
can I
Oh,
make a comment? I think the single star is kind of boring, but I
Mhm.
really like the ones with multiple
Mhm.
stars.
Yeah, that, but I like that middle one too. I think
Yeah, like where it's got the, yeah.
Kind of a cascading.
Yeah, this doesn't really offer a whole lot visually.
No. The
um,
cascading one, I like, yeah.
I guess my thought was just do the
Multiple
3
stars.
individually, and then if one is like a runaway favorite, that's good to know, or if there's 2 that are like tied, then we could think about doing those 2 together, but if we want to offer a package deal, I'm not
Yeah,
opposed
which
to
you
that.
could
Yeah, but it could be tier one. I mean, if whoever got the top and then the second.
That's
one,
true,
you could
yeah.
Get together then.
3 different color stickers, first, second, third
Yeah.
favorite.
That's true,
Could
and I
be
know
choppy
this is,
Italian, but you can do it.
I know this is staff.
Oh, yeah, then you gotta do, like,
favorite
yellow.
question versus
Oh, my
things
God.
we ask.
Okay,
Can we do a survey?
I can suggest a survey and see if staff has time for that.
See
If
if-
everyone
See
here
if
feels
Chris
that that would
slaps
be
you.
the best use of
Okay, well, I'm not, I guess, because
time
like,
and feedback.
I'm happy to like go talk to the chamber about it. And then we could talk to other like organizations like that, but I know sometimes we get crap for doing that, because that's like, oh, you're talking like, you know, behind closed doors, which I mean, it's all
Yeah.
open meetings,
Well,
but
but
just
the
like,
community, I mean, the people that live here that, I mean, we all do, I know, but like, they should have a say too, I feel.
right, so that's what I'm saying, like, do we want to do a,
Not just
like
the
a
business
survey?
owners
Like, what's the
or-
best way to get that feedback is what I'm asking.
Well, I
mean,
think
we
like
do
you
the
said, the
market,
market.
yeah.
Music in the park,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
right? I
So,
mean,
like,
what
do-
else is happening? Is there gonna be a street party?
Do you know?
What's
no,
your
there's not.
deadline?
Do you know
What?
when?
Like, what's your deadline though?
By chance, I don't know why.
I'm assuming
you would know
this is
this,
going into the
but
summer then, 'cause
flower
obviously the
yeah,
market
because we
doesn't
don't, we
even
need
Do
to
you know
buy
when
something in
they usually
January.
start fundraising?
So we
for
just
that?
need to
Like,
know,
we're-
probably by the end of summer,
Yeah,
what we're trying to do.
So, already-
Because
Right.
most
Get it
of
out
the
now.
I already
community
missed
events
that.
are-
Right.
What if the same people
Didn't get it, but
vote?
that's okay.
Each time?
I'm thinking of timing.
Ooh,
Like
Yes.
to have
people are
a
gonna
decision
double.
made, so when fundraising
Um,
would start.
I think you're gonna get a lot of opinions if you ask the community, and you probably, because you're all voted in, have to ask the community.
Right, yes.
But you could also give them the option of saying, which one do you want to help financially support?
That's true.
And that could be how they could vote for it.
Yeah, let them vote.
No,
Let's
have
put
them
out
vote
3
by
barrels
dollars
of
in a bucket.
Money.
There you go.
That's what I'm.
Whichever bucket gets the
Great
most
minds think
dollars
alike.
wins. See, and there's a fundraiser right there for you.
Love it.
What is the time?
Friends of the downtown holiday decor that's going to start and not involve the city in that. will be great to do that process.
There you
We'll
go.
happily. be
So the
able to put
city
those
can't
things in.
do that?
Yeah.
You don't need them.
Okay, let's get back to this. I am hearing that people like the option of multiple designs. So
Sure.
there's two ways to do this. We could pick, like, we're saying we like the idea of deer, trees and stars, or stars and cowboy boots, or not cowboy boots. I don't know what people are feeling. Or we could just do the route where we say, these are the three, let's see what people order them when we go out. How are they ranked? But I think ultimately, if we like this idea, this is like, you had a whole other meeting where you talked about these things, and now you're talking about it, and you've come down to deer, stars, and trees, which that is the recommendation, is that. I'm not sure where else there is to go from that, because that's what you're saying. Like these, it would be great to have all three of these things showcased through the downtown area. I think what could be is that there could be different trees, stars, and deer within. Do you like these three, or it could just be, which ones of these do you like, and then look at putting them together.
Yeah, it's
May
like
may I
already-
suggest that if we're going to present something like that, you
Mhm.
give two options that are two different stylized versions that have like the deer, the star, and the tree, all one style,
Exactly.
and then the other.
Yeah.
Because if you
Yes,
don't want
Yeah.
people
the best
voting
that
on
we
six
can, because again,
things.
none of these are, you
Oh,
can't
yeah,
just,
yeah,
it's a little difficult. Like some companies don't have really any
Well, for
deer,
sure,
so
but
we have to try to
I
do our
think you
best. But
want to,
yes, I
like-
agree with you. I think you have to keep it really simple. It's like when the designers brought,
Mhm,
do you want the illustrated
Mhm,
mhm.
or this more
yeah,
modern
exactly.
icon design? Which do you want? That's what we need to do here. Is
So-
give a couple packages.
So would it be smart for us, if we're capable of it in a short amount of time, to look at those trees and, I mean, or we do the sticker game again, which one of those three do we like? And then that maybe is the style that we present to the
Yeah.
public, is something a la this, not exactly, but it's gonna be
Yeah.
close, instead of giving like, because you don't want 86 choices out there, that's a bad idea.
Right.
But
the deer
like
things.
one tree, one deer, one star. And if like the cascading star, if that's a consensus that we don't like the simple star, then we could just say some kind of cascading star situation.
Well, something that you guys have on your mind that the community hasn't embraced yet totally is the timber thing.
Mhm.
And you keep thinking the theme and that's how you move forward, where the community doesn't see that.
Right,
And
right.
so to keep them focused, if you gave them those other choices, it's like, no, that doesn't fit in the timber theme. Well, what timber theme? The
Totally.
Red Holes are like a timber town, just driving through this town. So that's part of it, is you guys are thinking that way,
Right.
but the rest of the world isn't yet.
Hasn't
Which-
visualized it.
I think that's fine, because I mean, I think if we give them deer, stars, and trees, like those are all within
the
theme.
theme.
So then it's more like within the theme, what do
Right.
you
But it could be
like? But-
presented on one of the mock-ups of the light poles,
Oh,
right? You
Sure.
could present it with the timber town, the light pole that
That's
it's going
true,
to
I
be,
guess,
hanging
yeah.
off it like it's going to be, someone can do that, I'm sure.
yeah.
And make it,
We'll
like,
hire a graphic designer.
it would take, I could do it like. in
Help
3
me.
weeks or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone could do it.
something.
That's so
I do wish, I have to say, now that it would be, and I probably shouldn't even say this, it would be cool if we had more money and then we could use some of the icons that our graphic designers used in the inlays for,
Yeah.
just keep it consistent. But I understand we don't.
Well, and if they were
Can we
up
put a
all
star
of
on
the
top of
time,
That's
like
fair,
I would
yeah.
say that would be worth
Yeah.
it, that we.
But that would be cool for the banners though, right?
Oh, that's true. That's a
So
good
we
idea.
incorporate those in
Yeah.
the banners, and if
Right.
it's kind of this kind of.
Oh,
same.
yeah. we
Yeah,
could-
wait.
Yeah.
We
bring
could
it up.
have, I don't know how much, some of the banners are pretty tough.
Oh,
They're like,
They're
not-
the little.
They're
Like,
not
you know, like-
$400.
like we put up for like the
Like,
graduates or like the veterans, yeah. No.
Oh, not across. no.
How do we get ODOT to let us put things, because other cities put things across state
Let's just talk
highways?
about that. later.
Okay, sorry.
It is coming. That
Okay,
discussion is
okay.
coming.
Because I went to North Bend and they have that beautiful like welcome to North Bend thing across the state highway and I was like, okay, all right. Yeah.
Midville has that too. Why don't you
Okay.
just do it? Don't ask. Just-
So, well,
They won't.
That'll
show
be
you.
good. Real well.
So you said those were pretty cost effective, the little.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
I mean,
They're
Yeah.
just like the banners. like
Yeah,
we
they-
do
those
for
cost
Still,
museums.
that you're just doing
Yeah.
it, because you could theoretically have one set of those designs from the inlays for each season by pulling different things off each inlay.
Oh, yeah.
And then we could have something on those things all the time, even if it was just switched out, it might be kind of cool.
Cost wise, though, I don't know where how you
Yeah,
guys
I
do
think
that
that-
with the budget, because
That
it's
is cool,
proprietary.
but
with
let's
their-
not go
I
there.
think it was, wasn't it in our,
Just put it out
Stay
there.
focused on.
wasn't
this.
it somewhat in our
Right, it is.
contract that we can use some of their elements? For
I think
like,
we
to
have
pay them a
to-
little more, but like,
We have to
Oh.
get their permission. basically.
yeah, but like we,
They
it's just
have
a
to-
conversation we had with them that we
Yeah.
might want to
Can
come
we
back.
reuse it? Because we're talking about
Right.
putting it on bus stops.
Yeah,
I
or like
think
on the
that they're
kiosk.
not down with us just pulling
Right,
it out
sure.
and putting it on something,
But-
but they were definitely interested in helping to design something and.
They were definitely interested in us paying them more money to do this.
Which is, you know,
Come on, it's their job.
Who
Yes.
who would not be?
I know, that's what I'm
called
saying, yeah.
Upselling.
That was
yeah.
like the consultant
right.
whose recommendation was the city council should budget more money for them. And I was like, oh, that's, huh.
I would like to suggest that the city council budgets money for this committee.
Yes. Okay,
We're
Um,
on next.
Okay, so I think I get,
5:30 meeting.
yes, I get what you're saying, we need a direction, like these trees are very different
Right,
styles.
right,
One's
right.
really kind of modern and these two are a similar style, but there's, do you like the star, do you like pot? This one is a more natural looking tree without a pot. So if you'd like to do that, we can see how you're feeling about these. I don't know how you want to vote on them. If you want a sticker again,
who are we looking at?
if you want to just say what you like, we can pass
We
them
can
around
just
and
put
you
a
can
little
put a
tally
little
mark
check by
underneath
them.
it.
That works fine. If you want to do that. Ruth, would you like
Just
to
pass
start
the
with
things around.
that? Where did the other one go? Oh, it wasn't, we didn't have a thing.
Oh,
The
for the
deer.
deer,
There
yeah.
is no picture of the deer currently, so we'll have to come back to.
But there's only one deer.
Well, there are more deer.
There are
You just
more
have to
deer.
pull
I like
one
that
up.
one.
Yeah, that's,
That's
that's,
fun.
I was actually pulling that one right now.
We don't like that one actually.
Guess we can
I didn't see the price.
We don't like
No.
that one.
This deer that I
Those
just.
deer
Deer
that's
was over
$1,000.
$1,000. Not, that's not.
Yeah, like
Just commission the elementary schools to
See, now you're talking, this is the visionary leadership that we need.
Wow, archways,
Love that.
we can't have them. That would be great.
They get my hopes up for nothing.
We're
$14,000.
just doing a 1 and a 2. How are we doing this?
Well, I think it's on each, yeah, whatever feedback you want to put on there would be good. I mean, how did you do it, Bruce? Did you
I
just?
just signed my name.
Okay,
Oh,
That's a commitment.
it's a very city
Funny, you
council.
Google deer lamppost and it literally gives me a lamppost with a deer in the bottom. That was unhelpful.
I did get these for some- like,
So funny.
I can sign with nail polish.
There's apparently a city of Deer Park.
Oh,
Illinois?
I think so.
Didn't get that deep.
Just is your pet Illinois.
well,
Is there?
you learn something new every day.
You have to
One of these
search for
committees.
like commercial light pole,
Did I do that?
like decor, and then what you're looking for is like the best way to do it. Because it has to be commercial.
So let me just back up for a sec. Because is there any strong objection that these are the three that we're going forward with as a committee?
Other than the fact that Ruth and Sally
Say that
really
again,
like
I
the
didn't-
boot.
Oh,
Oh.
I just said, is there any strong objection to these three, the deer, the tree, the star being the three that we move forward with as the committee? We're all okay with that?
Yeah, I like the boot idea going down 13th or 11th. That's a good idea. So I can, I'll
Okay.
withdraw, but I'll.
It would
Okay.
be up
Flexible.
in town during frolic
I
Yeah,
know. I think
time. That would be rad
cool.
looking.
Yeah.
it would.
Um,
I think it might look a little confusing.
I guess, well, Well,
Maybe
that's
not
fair.
that.
Oh, maybe
I
not
guess-
that, but I think that the
Yeah.
one we looked at before, I don't think it had holly on it.
And to be fair,
Like,
it gets
I just
dark
have
at
to
like
look
9
for it.
PM during the frolic, but. Yeah, but, so, okay, so we're all okay with that. So then, are we, because I feel like there's a lot of discussion about, like, oh, we like all three. Are we trying to get the community to narrow this down to 2? Or like,
You
would
still like the
we,
idea of, let's go with all 3 of those and try to find 3.
like, I guess I'm just trying to figure out from the committee. So let's say we take these 3 options to the community. And then they really like one of them and the other 2 are tied. What are we doing with that information? Are we then only doing the one they really like? Or are we still picking the one they really like and a second one? Like, I guess I'm just trying to figure out what y'all are thinking with
Well, what are
that.
the deciding factors
What do you mean?
in determining if we have 1, 2, 3, or?
Well, that's what
total?
I'm asking. There is none. It's up to us. Like, we have a
You're
budget.
making a recommendation
Right,
right
we-
now.
Okay,
we
so
can-
Many are
with our first round of
We're not
money,
going there.
we're spending all $16,000.
Yes.
Okay, so are we trying to get the most for our money?
That's not a consideration. Everything we've shown is within what we think we would budget.
They're
So
all,
it is a consideration, but I don't want it to limit you because the things that Marcia and I have looked at
Hmm,
are within this like 400-ish to 800, depending on what they are range. So yes, it will obviously cut down on how many you can get. But the fact is we should look for something that we like and see if we can find options that are a lower cost. And part of it is getting them on sale. And that's, I think Marcia's, are they like 30% off
Oh, January.
in January? So that makes a huge difference. Yes.
I guess my other question about, that's why I asked about the quantity, because if we're going to have 6, then I'm definitely going to only have 1. If we're going to have 25, then that changes that.
Well, eventually, yes, we want,
But like
Okay,
first,
Right, but round 1,
round 1,
if it's,
ish.
well, round 1, if they're $500 and you have $16,000, that's ish, how many you get. I am
Right.
imagining that there may be some other costs in there. I don't know.
Shipping. Hardware,
Mhm.
shipping.
Yeah, right. There are probably some additional costs, but that's just an estimate of,
and how many like, posts do we have?
There's plenty.
there are a lot of, the new project, we did look at that last time. There are a lot of light poles going in for the project.
And who actually
So-
hangs them? Does ODOT?
Our public
Oh,
works.
okay. So that's not included.
Pioneer, they're at Public Works, Pioneer's been doing it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so basically, we're not limited by anything except our own desires.
There are decorations that go
We'll get
up
into the banner.
hugely, right? Like if you look them up on your own, you're going to find, well, I just found a deer that was great and it was like
Like $1,100.
$1,100. So it is possible to find
It
some
wasn't
that are
that great.
outrageous. That's not, but
Yeah,
we're not going to be bringing back anything to finalize that doesn't look like something that will fit within the general.
So in theory,
budget.
we could have like 10 each of 3 designs, round 1,
Oh,
right?
man. that would be
Right.
okay, so,
Now that we've already done.
We do have.
so I'm just reviewing some people's comments here. And so Sally, you said you like,
Well, I like when you said the tree without stars.
Right.
Because of the other stars, but I
Right.
don't like that tree.
do you like one of
Yeah,
these trees
yeah,
if it,
the one in the center more.
do you like this if it didn't have a star?
Right.
Okay. Because then other people I saw like this tree if it didn't have a star. Is there anyone that loves a tree with a star? Because I feel like I see lots of comments about this tree because it doesn't have a star, but not this tree, or this tree, but without the star. I'm not seeing anyone that's like, I love this tree with the star. Is that right?
Is your preference more that you would rather
say
not
that?
have a star?
I really,
Tree on the
I
left,
swear to
no star.
God, I feel like I live in Parks and Rec sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
All the things that's happening in the world.
Which is funny, because we're actually just now watching that, we never watched. it.
Really?
Just
That's-
now getting-
So a star does indicate religion.
Well, it doesn't have to, but I feel like it more so than a tree without a star. I don't know. I also kind of like if we're gonna also have stars, I kind of like a tree with a star and then a star makes less sense to me than a tree and then a star. I don't know. This is just me talking. It's a committee. So if y'all
Do
have,
we all kind of agree on the one on the left, that kind of style?
Wait,
with no
does-
star?
so that this one.
Because I think the
If I
second
can
one is
find
more
stuff.
modern,
Yeah.
then you have to get it.
That's not the long.
No, that's true.
No, and the one on the left is.
Well, it aligns with the
realistic-ish.
timber town.
Okay, so,
So what I'm hearing out of here is you like a more realistic tree without a star,
Yep.
if possible.
okay, great,
Okay.
perfect. Love
Are
that.
you,
Oh,
I guess
Go ahead, move on.
yeah, my issue here is if we do that and we say this without a star and this star and this deer, what are we leaving for the community?
That was kind
We've done our job.
Right.
But I think
Which is
three,
fine if you're ready. Last time I heard that people were not comfortable on this committee
right,
with
right.
making a decision. If you're comfortable
Well,
with saying, this is what we
Okay,
want to
but-
put forward and say,
Mhm.
we're recommending to go with this, great, like super, just made my job easier.
Is three
So
gonna
it
seem?
just depends on where you're
too-
at.
Yeah, too
Uh,
like,
let's just reflect for a
Right.
moment on what has been hanging up
well, yeah,
for the
3,
last
4, I
30
don't know how many
years.
of those there are.
but this is brand new and we're spending money, so like. You know what I mean? I wanna make sure it doesn't
I
look
do know
like
what you
it
mean.
was just kind of haphazard and thrown together and not a lot of.
Well, and keep in mind that there's a very good chance these are not all going to be from the same company. Because if you go to one company and look at what they have, you'll be like, that's okay, and that's okay.
And that's really
And
bad.
then, and those are bad, and then you'll go over there and say, that's good. So that's the other consideration. It's not like there's a collection of these to say, I want all these from the collection. There was a 12 Days of Christmas collection though.
Oh, well, so
Just
there you
know.
go.
Well, if you had two, you could have either they're the same on each side, if they're gonna be, or they could be like, here's a tree, here's the stars.
Right,
And-
like tree, star
Yeah.
stuff.
And keep
yeah.
in mind, one of the things you talked about last time was that
Right.
the poles are not straight. You are, they
And
are
like, they're not symmetrical.
all over the
Yeah.
place.
Well, and the other thing to
So,
remember is
terrible.
it's not gonna look the same every year. So if round one, we have 2 designs, we have 15 each. We hang them up, great. And then the next year we buy
Yeah.
a third design, then
15.
it's staggered, and then we
Mhm.
have a whole new configuration, right?
So if you want to do that, we should hone in on which
So I,
particular styles you like, and if we are gonna put it out somehow to someone, even if it's just the chamber and the farmer's market, whatever you want to recommend. If we do that, we would be asking those people to choose 2 designs. We'd be looking for the. best 2
all right,
designs.
so I propose that we do 15 each, or whatever the budget allows, of the trees and the stars, and we decide. We have like, give 2 options of like a stylized, like the middle one to me is a stylized thing. And then the other 2, yes, they're different, but it's more the same style,
Right.
right? So we'd have our 2 options of like the cascading star thing and the stylized tree together, or the other star and then another tree. Like, it doesn't have to be that, but I'm just saying, I think we should have 2 things for round 1 and 2 different styles and present that.
Which are trees and stars. and
That's
then
my
deer.
proposal.
Okay.
Anybody can agree or disagree. I don't care.
So, I think it makes sense that the 2 choices, but maybe, I mean, if you're gonna ask people, I might want to be given the 3 options with the deer and say, okay, we're gonna start with 2, which 2 do you
So,
Okay, so if we give the 3 options, but the ultimate goal is to settle on 2
Of those.
of those, 2 of the 3, and then for year 1, we get just 2 designs,
Maybe we
right?
can't have those 2 songs.
yeah,
Right,
So you're giving the community.
so the community has 3
feedback
options,
in
and
that
the
way.
top 2 choices get selected for year 1, and then if you want to, you can do it again next year, and
Or we
you know,
just go with
2 different designs, or you can pick the third, whatever,
so,
but,
okay, so we're presenting trees, stars and deer to the community.
yep,
We're gonna pick 2.
correct.
Are we, and I think this is the difference between what you're saying and what some other people have said. Are we giving, of the 3, are we giving 3 of each of, or are we just giving
Mm.
1? Okay, so we're just showing
One-
this tree.
One tree,
these
1
stars,
star,
and a
1
deer.
deer.
Okay,
whatever we all just voted on.
So
perfect.
The left
But
tree
they
is
have to
good.
be the same style.
Yeah, well, we can work on that.
We're gonna have to just
Yeah,
spend a little bit of time trying to make that happen. And
Okay.
try to find a tree that.
okay, so we're showing 1 tree, 1 star, or well, 1
well,
star
plus
decoration.
Stars.
Yeah, and
And
1
one
deer. And then the top 2 from the community feedback is what we will purchase.
Yeah.
When they write it and say, is that the best you can?
I know.
We're like, it is.
Yes.
And we say, actually, yes.
It's the best you can come up with.
Are you talking about that deer you had up earlier? Because that's that's a cool looking deer.
I think what I might do with the deer is get a little feedback from you by, just a little I'll email you out a survey with a few deer options to get your feedback on it.
And tree
That'll give me a little bit of time to try. And if you find any, if you're
Send 'em
searching
in.
and like something, send it to me.
Okay.
Um,
And I know you touched on this earlier. What is our timeline for like needing to then submit an order?
We're not going to
We're-
order until January.
Right. So when do we need to have something in our shopping cart?
It's not about, it's about the fundraising. So
Right.
that's really
So,
what
so I
the
guess.
sooner we can
okay,
decide, the sooner we can start fundraising.
Okay,
So that's really the push is while people are not putting money into flower baskets. and
Sure.
That we're kind of saying, and we also will have the holiday season to get back out there and say,
Mhm.
hey, the project's happening, but you notice how dark it is? We want to put these lights up. Hey, let's fundraise.
So
Like-
we do have 16 coming from the city, correct?
Or is that
Or was
using
that
12? That's
including some
11.
fundraising?
5 of it was hoping to have
Double
5 replenished from fundraising.
No,
So I think it was 11 or 12.
Okay.
I'm not
we're gonna,
100%
you know
sure.
what, we're gonna find out.
Was for sure budgeted. The council did acknowledge that and set aside, and then there was 5,000 put in with the intention that we could receive those funds back.
Well, and I think
But it's still budgeted.
we
either
tell
way.
people the choice, we tell them how much they cost in case they want to sponsor.
With yeah.
Now, if the Frolic and Rodeo puts up booths along 13th Street, and somebody comes along and said, you know, if I were willing to pay for it, I would have liked to see a snowman or whatever.
Yeah.
So long as it's not on Main or Applegate, they probably. wouldn't do
That's
it.
true. You could do cross streets. People could pay for that.
Okay.
We could talk about that.
Interesting.
Okay,
That might be
so,
a different committee.
so
Cross
I,
streets, don't think
shout
that's
out to
a-
Brad. I'm not looking at the city budget. I'm looking at the Philomath News where it says that we allocated 12,000
12,000, okay.
from ARPA funds. So that we have.
Yep.
Anything beyond that would be fundraising.
We have the 5,000 as well.
Oh, right.
It's
And we're
just-
hoping to replenish
It's like
it,
music in the
yeah.
park, how we
Right,
budget
yeah.
for music in the park for the bands, but we,
Okay, so we have a total of
Try to get that
17,000
back.
then.
Okay,
And then as much as we can
Yep.
replenish from fundraising would be great. But we can spend $17,000.
The fundraising went over 5, then that would just be extra money in the decoration cost.
Yes, we could get more than what we were budgeted for.
Janelle and Ruth. And. Do you prefer these stars or these stars?
The center one.
Center one? Center. Center, I know there are a couple that, I know Shari. Can I have that?
Oh, yes.
Well, I like the cascading thing, but I don't like the stars.
The actual stars? This is a really bad picture as well. The site does not have very clear pictures, so it's possible that I can look for something that looks a little better. This has blue lights in it too. It's mostly, yeah. I think this one does too.
are we proposing any banners as part of this too?
Not right now.
Okay.
You don't have to buy them
No
by
problem,
January.
Chelsea.
You don't have to buy them by
Not
January.
this time.
Right.
We don't, and those are, they're
They're-
a lot easier to get made, and
We can do those.
we can do that. We're looking to meet again and have conversations about that.
I do like the idea of trying to see if we could incorporate some of the graphic design from the inlays on those, but we can deal with that at a different meeting, Chelsea. I'm not trying to give you an aneurysm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I don't want to have that happen.
Okay, okay,
Sorry. I
so
think we've got
it
good
is-
feedback
it is 6:30. Are there any final concerns with presenting a tree, a star, and a deer to the community through the chamber, through the market, and potentially other avenues?
Music in the
as-
park, maybe.
Music in the park, yeah. I guess
Maybe
just, I feel
this
like,
month, except I don't think it'll be it. Or Thursday, do Thursday. That'll be a good one.
I guess my only question about that is, are you planning on having it available one time, like one music in the park, one chamber, one farmer's market.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're gonna get the same group of people voting on the same thing over and
No,
over
just
and
one.
again.
I
Okay.
think we're going to have to make a decision and move forward at some
Yeah.
point. I mean,
Hmm.
these are not inlays. These are not going into a sidewalk
right,
and then the sidewalk will deteriorate. We'll pull them out and put them in a new sidewalk. These are,
Right.
we hope that they last a long time, but they're not forever like an inlay. So they do, we'll get some feedback. There will 100% be people who say, just to prepare for it, that say, what is that? Or all of those, whoever thinking it will be the city. It happens it'll happen with your inlays. It happens every time you put something that gives people some kind of emotion and visual thing to look at. It just happens.
Well, they're allowed
So-
to have feelings about it.
Right, but then
Doesn't
we
have
can
to
say
make
that we
decision
did these
making.
different avenues that have potentially different people coming.
It
into
does
them
impact
and-
us getting elected.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't elect you because you put up a star, you have bigger problems.
Oh,
So those are the three that we'll focus on, just get that, and I will send out some deer, again, if anyone sees any deer you like, let me know. And I'll just try to give you a variety, because I know some of them have, like the one with the holly, this one has I don't know what that is, a scarf on. And so I will try to send you that to just kind of hone in a little bit on what you're thinking. Of course, you'll want it to go with your other two, but hopefully I can get some examples of these. And again, if anyone else is sitting around looking at Google and you find something, please send it. We can try to do a little bit of non-committee, but just feedback gathering from you so that I can look through that.
awesome.
I would think we want them all potentially the same height.
Yeah, that's another factor
Yeah.
is some of these come in a height, like this deer is actually huge, 7 foot.
That's totally me, just for, you
So,
know.
barely.
comparison.
That's like a lot.
Okay,
It's big, it's a big deer.
also, we can talk about this later if you want, but.
Yeah.
Do we have any updates on any of the other like bus stop or library mural things?
The bus stop, I believe the city manager has looking for quotes.
Okay.
I did
okay,
give the feedback that was
Okay,
gathered from here for that. We kind of got pushed into a little bit of a time frame with it because there's grant funding
okay,
that's involved.
okay.
So I think that's what happened with that. And what was the other thing you asked?
The library, the mural on the back.
That
Oh, yeah.
I 100% just never heard back from
Okay.
the organization that was involved. I
Okay.
reached out several times and
Hmm.
did not hear back. So I don't know
Okay,
what happened there. They were prepared to put out an RFP
Hmm.
and then just kind of dropped off.
yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know I don't know what happened there.
that's weird, yeah.
Yeah, I
And we bought the bike racks, right? Because we had a rush job done, right?
No, the bike racks aren't.
We have the
We have the
inlays
inlays.
are in our possession. Can we do like a committee field trip sometime and look at the inlays?
That would be fun.
Because I remember we had to rush to make a decision on the bike racks too. didn't we?
It was
We
just because
did.
the submittal was going in to
Oh.
ODOT.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be cool to look at the inlays at some
Mhm.
point.
So they're very cool. Mhm.
I saw pictures of them when I was in Honduras. I met
Okay.
the guy in Honduras that made our inlays.
What?
Directly with the company.
Totally.
What are the odds of
I
that?
know,
Right, he came
right?
for a farmer's market and then I met him at Pirate, him and his wife, super cool couple. We met him at Pirate Week. We're talking and like, oh, where do you know, how you talk and Philomath and he's like, wait a second. Well, I just did some really cool inlays for them. And he was like, here, last week I just finished them. And I'm like, those are our inlays. That's what we worked so hard on. So yeah, it was super cool. And then he sent Brian the pictures and then, yeah, so he said it's like one of his favorite projects he's ever done. Like
Nice.
Chelsea was
As
saying-
it should be.
well, Chelsea was telling me, but he also told me that they're doing like this whole, they did like a drone
Mhm.
thing and like a whole video of our inlays.
Yeah, they're
Whoa.
they're
Like
gonna
a
come
production
take
thing.
pictures. and They're doing a whole thing. And
Wow.
also our artist submitted the inlays to a national design competition of some sort. So they came out and took pictures of them,
Oh
so
my
they could
God.
put it in with their submittal. So
That's
very
amazing.
exciting.
Oh.
Yeah,
Look at us go.
I know.
Okay, all right.
They're not even in the ground yet. and-
Not Portland.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. remember that.
It was those mushrooms.
Okay, any other thoughts before we leave? Yeah.
That's
I
right.
think, and I guess, and do we need committee members to go to, like, I can go to, well, I need to figure out when I can go to the chamber. I'll go sometime.
Let me send an email.
Okay,
Kind of gather this all and send
Okay.
an email and see if there are
Right,
people
for
who
the
can
other
help
stuff.
out with the
Okay.
information gathering and
awesome.
maybe some dates.
Okay. And so then do we want to schedule another meeting now or should we?
We'll
Okay.
schedule when we have
Okay,
more business. that needs to
Okay.
do. And the minutes, I apologize greatly. I've been really wrapped up in human resource stuff and I have not been able to do that.
that's, so it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all very much. I say it a lot, but this is genuinely my favorite committee that I serve on for the city because what could be more fun than this? And you're a great group of people. No, because I don't,
Now I'm
no, no, no.
just, I'm
Because
just
listen.
hearing no right now. I'm
Because
just
listen,
hearing no.
You can watch me in these other committees and I do not say this. Ruth's there, she knows.
Sometimes kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm not cranky here.
Crazy, yeah.
So just thank you all very much for being here and making this happen. I look forward to seeing our work downtown when it's all done. So,
I have one more thought. also
Okay,
to
well.
share. The designers did want me to pass on to you that you were a great committee to work with. They've had a couple other committee type projects that they're loving as well, but they just said you really set the bar high, that working with you is just really great, the whole process. So I know sometimes we felt like there were a few tough times, but
Do we get a
they
raise?
really appreciate it all. You do.
Yeah.
I'll double what you're
Can
getting
you
right now.
double? the salary?
I'll bring like donuts or something to the next meeting.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Do we have a picture of the, I don't remember seeing the final of the bike rack.
I haven't,
Do we ever get that?
or wait, of the
Bike rack.
design for the bike rack? Yeah, I think we approved it
Yeah.
at a meeting,
Perfect.
but we can send that out if you want it.
I don't know if I remember seeing the final product.
I think I remember seeing it. I think it was more like, so this is what we had to do. And we were all like, okay. Like, I think it was kind of an after the fact
Yeah,
approval,
yeah.
but I do think we saw that,
I
but
think
we
it came
can.
down to which one of the three.
But
I mean,
it
we're all
went, it went to the council.
I remember one in mountains and. some
Because yeah, it was kind of a,
stuff.
I think it had like trees, a cloud with the sun and like a bike. I think that was,
Yeah.
and it said like Philomath.
Yeah,
It's very circle.
We can find it.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
find it.
okay.
yeah, I would love to see it if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. I added it to this.
Just another thing for you to do.
That's all right. I'll get to it after all the HR stuff.
We have to
Okay.
adjourn this
wonderful.
thing. or-
Yes, all right. Thank you all. Meeting adjourned.
You need a gavel.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty rowdy in there. I gotta,
That seems unnecessary.
Your 6'9" stature.
Yeah,
will
I
not
just
get us-
stand up if I need to,
Who's making those? Rodeo solos? Probably stuff up there.